that there are two kinds of bringing up. There's one which is you got to become something, an entrepreneur, or a big time. When they're growing up, a big time CEO, VP, whatever. And then there's a vision that no, you just got to make some decent living, and that's the end satisfaction level. And that's where I believe that's when I hit wall, because they've been brought up in a way where satisfaction level reaches too early. And I kind of at a place where if we were to grow faster, then people need to grow in their career as well. Only then this shit will go forward.
No, so I think we're talking about two different things which are interrelated. One is growing in one's career, right? And everybody aspires
Yeah,
to, I would say. Nobody says that, oh,
yeah.
you know what, I joined in doing five things in a small project, and all my life I just want to do
Mm,
this. Very few people think of it that way, I would say. A lot of people want to see,
mm,
they look at their mentors, their managers, other people in the company,
mm,
and they aspire to become like them sometimes, right? Or be
mm,
better at
mm,
something over time. The other
mm.
thing is, we have to understand and acknowledge that a team cannot be formed with just A players. Like if everybody
Yeah.
is super super good on one team, right?
Mm,
Uh, I'm not saying it's good to it's not good to be good. What I'm trying to say is you cannot have all A players like I
yeah,
mean,
it's
look at
not
soccer,
possible.
for example. You just can't have everybody
Yeah.
leading, the team in the front, right? You have to have a football team has very well defined players who does what. Everybody has a role to play. There's a goalkeeper,
Mm,
right? There are people who in the backward, the
mm,
front center, all of that, right? So that's how I think projects
mm,
are tackled best. And that doesn't mean
mm,
someone like it doesn't mean if the goalkeeper is the guy who's farthest from the
mm,
front, that doesn't mean
mm.
that he or she is the most
Yeah.
junior person, right? No, but
Mm,
everybody's skill sets and how they collaborate on a project have to complement. You can't just have
mm,
six people equally smart, super smart, trying to do a project all the
mm.
time successfully, because there'll be conflicts, there'll be clashes. So that
Absolutely.
complementing nature is very very important. Somebody is good at presenting, somebody is good at drafting an email, somebody is good at writing specs for the product, somebody's good at website, somebody's good at advertising, somebody's good
Mm,
at doing podcasts like these, right? So a
mm,
team, in case of marketing for example, different people are good at
mm.
different things, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, they all don't have
Yeah. I
necessarily
get.
have to be A players,
I
right?
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Yes, I stand a little bit corrected on that one. Okay, coming back to the point that 20 years ago there was no internet. I agree that internet is taking away the lines that coming from a small town or growing up in a Delhi or a Bombay today. 20 years ago you didn't have that. How did that transition happen?
No, interestingly, I mean, now that you bring up, I had access to
Hmm.
internet pretty early in my life. That I mean, the year
That's
was
so.
2000, so pretty much, I think the
Hmm.
first personal computer with internet I had access to 22 years ago, or 21 years ago, right? So
Wow.
I got lucky, I would say, in terms of getting exposed to the
Hmm.
internet. My first email
Hmm.
was in the year 1999, I believe. That's the one that I created. I think it was Hotmail or something.
Hmm.
So what I'm trying to say is
Yeah.
I had access, and of course, internet
Hmm.
from that time was very different from internet today. That was a typical dial-up
Hmm.
connection, and we would try to sort of connect to the internet, and very different world, right? But
Yeah.
I get your question. I
Yeah,
mean,
I remember.
I get your question. What you're trying to say is back then, not being in Delhi or in Mumbai or Bangalore, was it a
Yeah.
disadvantage? I mean, if I
Hmm.
think about it, I would say it was not. And why I would say that is, I think we had far lesser distractions back then, and not just
Hmm.
distraction for studying or anything. Uh, Distraction
Yeah.
in general, where we had very few things. I mean, I grew up in a town where there was no cinema hall. Imagine that,